Hello everyone, this is Ben for another entry, and I still don't know what this is called. I guess I've started to call it Pathetic Attempt at an Off-the-Cuff Blog, which is pretty accurate, if I do say so myself. Still have that cough, still has the wind. Again, I do apologize for all that. Should probably get that cough looked at one of these days. But yeah, I'm here for another entry. Just out here on my driveway, freezing my butt off, just ranting or venting or talking to my phone, talking to an audience that I don't even know is there. But if you are there, I do thank you for listening in to just another guy talking about his problems. I do appreciate it. So, I would like to say I have been making a decent amount of progress with at least the planning of the story that I wish to write. While I did already have like a pseudo outline for the story prior to making these recordings, I last night finally made an outline for at least one of the writing strategies I have for the characters and their relationships with each other. And I will admit, I do think that does put a huge burden off my shoulders, because now I, in some ways, now have kind of a map and a guide to how to tackle that issue, how to tackle that subject. And so now, with that guide, with that, in some ways, checklist, all I need to do is fill in the blanks and find out where these entries on this list goes into the story overall. I don't know about you, but I'd call that progress. I'd call that an insane amount of progress. Because prior to this, I was just going in blind as to, like, okay, how do I make this work? How can I make this good? How can I make this happen? Going in blind, I probably would have driven myself nuts trying to figure it all out. But now it seems like I have an answer key to all that, at least in terms of that aspect. And I can't tell you how happy I am to finally have something like that accessible to me, on top of the fact that I made it myself, so that also puts a smile on my face. Like I said, I am a planner, not a pantser, in terms of the writing community vocabulary that I'm using. I am a planner, not a pantser. If you are a pantser, I'm not judging you at all. Do what you do, and do what you do best. But this is certainly, I think, going in the right direction. I tell you what, I also kind of want to do, like, I wouldn't call it a movie script, but like more like sometimes there are like novelizations to movies that you can buy at bookstores. I would probably like make a novelization of a movie that in the same universe, of a movie that I would like to do. It is based heavily off of certainly one, but maybe two of my favorite franchises of all time, so that'll be fun. I hope that'll be good. Also wouldn't mind making two little one-shots. One is just a cute little thing, cute little snippet of just two people talking to each other about their day. That'll probably be me testing the waters of how this whole not only creative process works, but also how that blog works, since still kind of working the ins and outs of it. I do really like that blog, so it would be nice to get going on that. The other one is kind of a recreation of a movie scene that I really like, that I think would work really well in that universe. Like I said, I hope people enjoy it. But yeah, slowly but surely, I think I'm starting to finally understand and see how this whole process is working out. And I can't tell you how happy that makes me feel right now. Snow's still on the ground. I hope that stays for the next 10 days or so for Christmas. Hold on 1 second. I better let my cat inside. Oh, where are you going? Yeah, hit it on there, buddy. Sorry about that interruption. But yeah, I feel like I'm in a much better place now than I was a couple days ago, which is certainly a good sign. Once again, I think the only thing that's, you could say, eating away at me is, like I was saying yesterday, is okay, what happens when I'm done? What happens when I'm finished? And you might still feel like it's still incomplete, or you might still feel like you've missed something, or you might feel like even after all this it still wasn't good enough. Sorry about that. And yeah, still kind of going through that. But I've also come to recognize what I said in one of my previous entries. One of my favorite film trilogies is the Dark Knight trilogy. And realizing that series of movies took 7 years to complete. Someone could easily binge all 3 movies. Well, maybe not easily, but someone could binge all 3 movies in a single day, maybe even a single afternoon. 7 years of work for an afternoon of movie watching. But I tell you what, that would be one hell of an afternoon to experience. Because, like I've said to myself now on more than a couple of occasions, life will move on, but thanks to you, it's better. And Christopher Nolan, the director of all 3 movies, if he understood the context of all that, but I would say life will move on, but thanks to Christopher Nolan, life is better. And I would say that about a lot of people in my life. I could easily say that about my family, my friends. Life is better because of all those people, and I'm very thankful for them to be in my life. And I bet you a lot of content creators would say the same exact thing about their audiences. Like Steven Spielberg would not be the person he is today without an audience cheering him on. And the list of examples could go on and on and on and on. So, yeah, I was about to make like a car analogy or something, but then the words kind of just fumbled around in my brain, so I'll probably just stop that. But yeah, what's interesting is for this story, I split like the main plot. I kind of put that in quotes. I kind of split the main plot into 20 arcs with a whole bunch of, I would call them intermissions, and that's probably where most of the fluff would go, if you want to call it that. That's where all the slower moments go. Not to say that some of the slow moments won't happen in the arcs themselves. I'm sure that will happen. I'm very sure that will happen. But, and I know for a fact that there's one important plot element that will happen in an intermission, most likely towards the end of the story. But yeah, like I said, I'm a planner, and right now I think my plan for this story, I think, is coming along quite well. And I know not a lot of people like fluff. I know not a lot of people like these tooth-rotting, sticky sweet moments. For these characters and for this story, I do. And if you don't, then more power to you. I'm not here to judge absolutely anyone. But that's just me. I am beginning to, at least in the process of, beginning to reread, rewatch some pieces and movies that have not only inspired me just in general, but have inspired me to write some of these works, just to get the spark back. Which I can't tell you how excited I am to do that. But I also realize I'm probably going to have to watch the show or read the book that is the basis for all of this. And I know during some moments it's going to hurt me. I know during some moments it's going to frustrate me. But I need to do it. And I also need to realize and recognize those painful moments, those frustrating moments, I can fix. I can change. That's the whole point of this process. And that does give me hope on some level. That does drive me forward, certainly, on a number of levels. Like I said, if I run out of things to say, I'm probably gonna end these entries a lot sooner than I have, because just listening to a guy walk on his pavement for long spurts of time without saying anything, just coughing in the background. I know that's kind of boring, kind of mundane, so I will try to stop doing that if it feels appropriate, which might be very soon. But yeah, I finally have an outline or a checklist, whatever you want to call it, for the narrative strategy for the relationships of the characters, and I can't tell you how much sorry about that. How much of a weight off my shoulders that is. I can't tell you how much. When I stepped back and took a look at the whole thing again, while I was thinking, well, maybe I can tweak a few things here and there, but looking at the whole thing again, I was like, you know, I could tweak it, but this is a guide, not an instruction booklet. And you can take this however wish you want. You could take each relationship however wish you want, but here is the map. Here's the guide for how you think it should go, how appropriate you think the timing and pacing and order of events things should go in. You're gonna do fine. You're gonna do all right. And no matter what happens, essentially, you're only going to get praise. You're only going to get positive feedback. I certainly do hope that's the case. And even if it's not the most positive feedback, it's constructive criticism, which I always welcome. I always welcome constructive criticism. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. Feeling much better. Feeling much more motivated. Still feeling cold. Of course, it's still December. And yeah, just remember, life will move on, but thanks to you, it's better.